Okay, looking at Shiba Inu here from the daily perspective, one of the things that stands out here is that we have a cup with handle pattern that's formed. A lot of times cup with handles that form it as the bottom formation are actually can be very powerful. And I'm always reminded of the price action of Home Depot and Microsoft when they came off the 1990 lows. They all formed a cup with handle patterns and went on to one of their explosive rallies of the 1990s. So I'm not saying that Shiba Inu is going to, duplicate that type of performance or longevity, but when people say head cup with handle patterns as a bottom are questionable, they really are not. In fact, historical studies that I've done have shown that they can actually are on average very powerful. So we do have the cup with handle pattern here. We're looking at a measured move of about 36% from the handle high down. That takes us up to the profit target area that I've been seeking for a while now, which is these highs here from May 20th at 12.14 and then 12.04 here on May 24th. The measured move, I believe, comes in at about 12.17, so more or less the same price. So once we get above this handle high, we should see some resistance come into play here from this high and then some these swing highs here, but it should be minor until we get to this level here. You can see the cup with handle pattern a little bit better here on the intraday chart. It's actually very constructive. You have one of the things you want to see is the right side of the cup to be impulsive, and that is the case. Here, move sideways. We stayed above the 200 6-hour moving average, which is a bullish development. Also, you want to see the handle stay above that particular moving average if possible. And one of the things that we are nearing here is a golden cross pattern on the 6-hour chart, which doesn't necessarily guarantee an upside. You'll see we had it here and we fell off, but it's important to note that a lot of the cryptocurrencies this time around were closely preceded by a golden cross pattern on the 6-hour chart. So it's something to keep in mind. It could actually be a tell of the breakout from the cup with handle pattern. On the downside, really support comes in below this 50. It comes down to this 56-hour moving average, which is 698. I think anything below there means we're going to revisit these lows from May 19th and possibly lower. So it's really critical that we hold in this area moving forward. Otherwise, we're going to see lower prices, including a new all-time low probably for Shiba Inu. So it is at an inflection point in terms of an overall bearish or bullish narrative, and it should resolve within the next few days, this pattern, in order to keep the symmetry in place.
Okay. I think your targets for the cup and handle pattern coincide with what I'm looking at. For me, I've been on this particular theory for quite some time now. Every time we get a retest of the support levels 622 and 653, we've seen a massive price swing to the 70.5 fib, sometimes the 79 fib. But this time, it took a while for Shiba Inu to consolidate and then shoot higher. But even the upswing was kind of not there. I didn't have enough oomph for it to reach the 62 fib over the 70 fib. So going forward, I'm expecting that to be tagged, which comes around the 101 level and 107 level. And this time, if we do reach above the 79 fib, it's likely we will hit the range high, the swing high here, formed on the 25th May, which comes around 112. Kind of aligns with what you're looking at over here on Shiba Inu. Yeah. Considering the general bullishness of the market, I think it's gonna stay in an uptrend.
Yeah, I agree. It looks higher at this point. The only problem that I have, one negative that stands out in terms of the handles is that it's kind of been wedging higher. There hasn't been a complete rounding of it, so that is a little bit of a negative. It means that maybe we're not getting all the weak holders out of it as we should. But other than that, I see higher prices in the short term. After 12-14, though, I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I don't think we're going to see one of those instant run-ups of hundreds of percents like we saw earlier this year in Shiba Inu, though. Plus, of course, we have the
Definitely.
FOMO effect, which could return. Although it's interesting to note that even though we've seen, I would say, a very broad and very bullish rally in the complex, and some set social media measurements, it's not as hyped as you would think it would be in some coins cases. So that actually is a positive when you look at it from a short-term perspective. There's more potential FOMO energy to be put into the market moving forward.
Yeah, but like on the topic of FOMO, I'm not sure if the era of doc coins is over, at least for this particular bull run. But I think if it is not, and then we start to rally, and then Bitcoin comes very close to hitting its all-time high, I think all the doc coin levels are going to come back for the gains. And if that happens, then I'm pretty sure we're going to see an exponential run up, at least not to this particular level, because this time around people are going to be cautious. So that's really important, and I think it's really important, also important for us to know if the meme coins are actually died down during the next phase of the bull run.
Okay.